All right, let's get right into it. We've all heard this term digital twin, right? It gets thrown around a lot, but what is it really? Beyond the buzzword, I mean. Today, we're going to crack it open and really get to the science behind it so you can see what all the excitement is about. So, think about how pretty much any big organization works. You've got your strategy documents, right? Your process flow charts, those endless KPI spreadsheets. It's a whole universe of PowerPoints and PDFs that are supposed to tell you how everything fits together. And right there, that's the fundamental problem. All those documents, they're just maps. They're a picture of a single moment in time. The second you hit save, the real world, the actual territory, it starts changing. So the map gets outdated like instantly. It becomes disconnected from what's actually happening on the ground. But what if you could change all that? What if instead of an old static map, you had a living, breathing mirror, something that didn't just show you where you were yesterday, but reflected what your organization is right now, this very second? Well, that is the promise of a digital twin. This idea, this jump from static maps to dynamic mirrors, it completely changes the game. It's how we start to actually understand and manage all that complexity. We're moving away from just documenting things to creating a living, evolving model. So to really get a handle on this mirror, we need a solid definition. What exactly is a digital twin? And maybe just as important, what isn't it? Okay, here's the official take. Now, the magic words here are continuously updated and real-time data. See, this isn't some model you build once and then just look at. It's a system that is constantly, perpetually synced up with reality, whether that reality is a jet engine, a global supply chain, or the entire organization itself. And this is where it gets super clear. A digital model? Think of that as just a blueprint. You know, a process diagram. It's useful for sure, but it's totally disconnected from what's happening day to day. Then you have a digital replica. That's a step up. It might be linked to some data, like asset tracking, but it's not a live, real-time thing. But the digital twin? That's the real deal. It's a dynamic system plugged into live data that can simulate what-if scenarios and even influence its real-world counterpart. So what does it actually take to build one of these? What are the nuts and bolts, the essential ingredients that make a true functioning twin different from just a fancy-looking dashboard? It really boils down to three core components. First up, deep knowledge. This is the skeleton, the blueprint of how the organization actually works, often captured in things like enterprise architecture. Second, you need real-time inputs. This is the lifeblood, the pulse. It's the live data from operations, from KPIs, from project updates. This is what keeps the twin honest and aligned with reality. And third, and this is absolutely crucial, feedback capability. The twin doesn't just sit there and watch. It pushes insights and even actions back into the real world. It closes the loop. Okay, so we know what it is, we know what it's made of, but now we get to the really fascinating part. How does a digital twin actually think? How does it go from just a flood of raw data to providing real, actionable reasoning? This image right here, it illustrates that thinking process perfectly. Check out that chain in the middle. Objective links to KPI, which links to a project, a process, a role, and all the way down to the raw data. Everything is connected. So what happens if a project gets delayed? Well, the twin doesn't just send you an alert. It instantly shows you which KPI is going to be affected, which department is on the hook, and which high-level strategic objective is now officially at risk. That's a level of visibility that used to take weeks of painful meetings to figure out. Now it happens in seconds. And this quote just nails it. Interacting with a twin isn't like pulling a report from some old system. It's literally like having a conversation with your entire organization. You can ask it really complex what-if questions and get intelligent answers back because the system actually understands how everything is interconnected. So, what's the tech behind this magic? Well, it's a huge shift from old-school keyword searching to true understanding. Your traditional systems, they just find documents that contain the exact words you typed. But cognitive systems, they use something called vector representations to understand concepts and relationships. It's like this. They know king is related to queen in a very specific way. And that's totally different from how king is related to, say, cabbage. This lets the AI figure out what you mean, not just what you typed. It's a game changer. Okay, this all sounds incredible in theory, right? But where can a complex system like this actually take root and thrive? Let's take a look at how this plays out in a real-world context. As it turns out, the public sector in Saudi Arabia is providing this uniquely fertile ground for the technology to grow. See, To build really powerful digital twins, you need a coherent ecosystem. You need shared standards, secure infrastructure, and strong governance, all working together. And that's exactly what's being built there. You have the Digital Government Authority, which provides the common language and blueprints. Then there's DeemCloud, offering the secure, certified playground for these twins to live in. And finally, the Saudi Data and AI Authority acts as the referee, providing the ethical rules of the road. You put those pillars together, and you've created the perfect environment for every entity to build its own safe, coherent, and constantly learning twin. So let's just quickly recap the big ideas here. First, a digital twin is a living mirror, not an outdated map. We got that. Second, for it to be the real deal, it needs three things: deep knowledge, live data, and that all-important feedback loop. Third, the AI powering it creates true institutional reasoning. It's not just about being a little more efficient. And finally, the ultimate goal is for every organization to build its own twin, one that learns, teaches, and adapts right alongside you. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. Just imagine for a second, if your organization was a living mirror, reflecting everything back to you in perfect, real-time clarity, what would it show you? What hidden problems or what incredible untapped opportunities would suddenly be staring right back at you?